Bonjour, welcome to this new lesson. Today we're going to continue learning more ER verbs, more useful ER verbs. I think that's something that's lacking in most methods. It's that they give you the conjugations, how they work, and then just leave you hanging without really knowing any good ER verbs. All they give you is the ER verbs that you won't need or some that you need, but they won't give you those that you really need or those that you won't run into that you won't know. All books should give you a good list of all the ER verbs that you'll be using. So here's one of them, to close. Close one's eyes, close a door, close anything. That's the verb fermer, okay? Fermer with er at the end, that's the infinitive. And he's closing the door would be il ferme la porte, okay? Il ferme la porte. Il ferme la porte. She's closing her eyes would be elle ferme les yeux. Elle ferme les yeux. D'accord? She's closing her eyes. And in French, we say she's closing the eyes, right? Elle ferme les yeux. We're doing a little liaison here, connecting the supposedly silent S to the Y, to the vowel sound with the Z sound. Les yeux. So, les alone, that's L-E-S. We don't say the S, les. But it's because it's followed by a vowel sound, we're going to say les yeux. We don't say the X. Les yeux. Les yeux. Remember, that's an irregular noun, just like you have mouse and mice in English. We have un œil in French, and les yeux. D'accord? Ensuite, then next, what else do we have? To breathe, respirer. Il respire. Il respire, he's breathing. If you want to say he's still breathing, you add encore. Encore is still. You put that after the verb. Il respire encore. Il respire encore. Beautiful. Il respire encore. Il respire. We have the strong French R. Il respire encore. It's not as hard. When you end a sentence with an R, you don't have to do it that much. Il respire encore. Encore. D'accord? Il respire par la bouche ou par le nez. Does he breathe or is he breathing through his mouth or through his nose? Il respire par la bouche ou par le nez. D'accord? And CPR in French is les premiers secours. Les premiers secours. Les, remember, les, L-E-S is les as opposed to le singular. Le. So this is les premiers secours is CPR. Now we have the verb emprunter. Emprunter, which is to borrow. Borrow, d'accord? Il emprunte $100 à Isabelle. He's borrowing, or he borrows. He's borrowing $100 from Isabelle. We say to Isabelle. Il emprunte $100 à Isabelle. C'est un billet de 10. Is it a $10 bill? C'est un billet de 10. It's a bill of 10. 10, remember, when 10 is the last word of a sentence, you do say an S sound, otherwise you don't say it at all. You don't say the X at all. So, 10 couverts, d'accord? So, c'est un billet de 10. You only say the X because it's the last word of the sentence, otherwise you wouldn't hear it at all. So, you would say 10 voitures, 10 cars, 10 personnes, 10 people, etc. C'est un billet. ET is like ER or E accent aigu, it's pronounced E. C'est un billet de 10. I'm doing the liaison here between the T and the U. But if I spoke fast, I wouldn't do it. I would say c'est un billet 10. I would just pronounce like a D apostrophe. C'est un billet 10. So question, c'est un billet 10? Otherwise, if I read it slowly, I would say c'est un billet de 10. Okay? Ensuite, inspirer, expirer. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in is the verb inspirer, breathe in. Inspirer. Breathe out is the verb expirer. Out. Air coming out. D'accord? Elle inspire et elle expire. If you go to a yoga class in France, you will hear inspirer, breathe in. Expirer, breathe out. Elle inspire et elle expire. She's breathing in and out. Okay? For us, we just have one separate verb for breathe in and breathe out. Elle inspire et elle expire. It's also the verb to inspire someone. Elle inspire tout le monde. She inspires everyone. Elle inspire. D'accord? Breathe in, inspire, same verb. She's sitting on the ground. Elle est assise par terre. If I say it slowly, I would connect the T to the A. Otherwise, the T is silent. Elle est. But elle est assise par terre. Par terre is on the ground or on the floor. Elle est assise par terre. A man or boy would be il est assis. And there would be no E, so I would not say the S. We hear the Z sound only because it's a girl. Elle est assise par terre. Elle est assise par terre. If I'm talking about a boy or a man, I would say il est assis par terre. Let me write it down. Il est assis par terre. Il est assis par terre. If I say it faster, I would skip this T. Il est assis par terre. D'accord? Ensuite, to look like someone. It's a good verb to know. It's to resemble to someone in French. Okay? So you say ressembler à quelqu'un. D'accord? Ressembler à quelqu'un. To look like someone. Steven ressemble à Alec. Steven looks like Alec. Steven ressemble à Alec. Ils sont jumeaux. Are they twins? Ils sont jumeaux. D'accord? Jumeaux is twins for twin brothers. And twin sisters is the word jumelle. And it's funny because it's the same word as binoculars. So there are plenty of play on words between twin sisters and binoculars in French. If you look up jumelles on google.fr, Google France, you'll see binoculars and twin sisters. Okay? Jumelles, des jumelles. So we say Steven ressemble à Alec. Steven ressemble à Alec. Ils sont jumeaux. Are they twins? I think this verb should be in every book. You know, as I said, they give you a very incomplete list of ER verbs in all books and all methods. This one should be in there. I think it's pretty useful. To sneeze, éternuer. Okay, éternuer. So she's sneezing is elle éternue. Elle éternue. D'accord? Bless you is à tes souhaits for someone you know. If you want to say this to someone you don't know, you say à vos souhaits. You want to be formal. À vos souhaits. À vos souhaits for someone you don't know. À vos souhaits. Otherwise, if it's a friend, someone close to you, à tes souhaits. À tes souhaits. Elle éternue. J'éternue tout le temps. We would say j'éternue tout le temps. I sneeze all the time. That would be j'éternue tout le temps. I sneeze all the time. If I said this faster, it would be j'éternue tout le temps. I pronounce the le as an L apostrophe. J'éternue tout le temps. We don't say the PS. J'éternue tout le temps. I sneeze all the time. Elle éternue. She's sneezing. C'est dégoûtant. It's disgusting. Remember, the same origin as the word dégoûtant, disgusting. You just see the S's that we stopped pronouncing a long time ago, centuries ago. And we put these two accents to remind people there used to be an S after these letters, just like in English. D'accord? Slang for dégoûtant, a word we use all the time, you need to know, otherwise, you know, the French will not say dégoûtant all the time. They will say dégueulasse, which is very much used. Dégueulasse. D'accord? Or dégueu. Sometimes they cut it short to dégueu. Dégueulasse, c'est dégoûtant. D'accord? Ensuite, to drool or to slobber, that's another verb that you need to know. I hear that all the time, actually. Same thing with me when I learned English. I only learned that when I came to America. I never learned that in my English books back home in Europe. Elle bave. Elle bave, she's slobbering or she's drooling. Elle bave. That's the verb baver. Je bave, tu baves, il bave. It's a regular ER verb. D'accord? La bave is slobber or spit. Elle bave. D'accord. Oh, to flush. The one most interesting, useful verbs you might want to learn in French. Why isn't it in all books? You need to know that verb. Who doesn't flush several times a day? I hope you do. Okay, we have two ways of saying this. To pull the flush, because originally we would pull that cord, remember? Chain. Or you can say chasser, simply, which is exactly the verb to hunt. Okay, the verb to hunt is chasser, just like to flush. Strange. Hunt, chasser, just like to flush. Okay? So, il tire la chasse, he pulls the flush, that's an ER verb. Il tire la chasse, he's flushing. Il chasse, he's flushing. D'accord? Je chasse, je tire la chasse, as I'm flushing. La chasse d'eau is the flush. D'accord? La chasse d'eau. Effacer is to erase or delete. Effacer. J'efface as I'm deleting or I'm erasing. J'efface le tableau, I'm erasing the board. J'efface le tableau. E-A-U, remember, is the sound O, like the letter O. J'efface le tableau. Voilà, there you go. Il est effacé. It is erased. It's erased. Il est effacé. D'accord? Ensuite, the verb monter. Monter is the verb to go up or go upstairs. D'accord? Monter, to go up, go upstairs. So, elle monte les escaliers. She walks or she goes up the stairs. Elle monte les escaliers. C'est raide means it's steep. C'est raide, like the color red. C'est raide, just with a French accent. C'est raide. D'accord? Elle monte les escaliers. So I'm doing a liaison, les escaliers, with an S sound, with a Z sound, sorry. Elle monte les escaliers. E for the ER. Remember, ER is always pronounced E. All the ERs you see at the end of French words, it's pronounced E, like an E accent aigu, okay? E, so escalier. D'accord? Les escaliers, the stairs. Montrer, very close. Montrer is to show, okay? Montrer, to show. This is elle montre des billets. She's showing some bills. Some plus a plural noun, we'll see that later, is the article des. Elle montre des billets. Je montre des billets. I'm showing some bills. Elle montre des billets. Ça y est, that's it. Ça y est, we say that all the time. Ça y est, je suis riche. If I said faster, of course, it would be je suis riche. Je suis riche. Je suis riche. The French will never say that slowly. Je suis riche. They will say je suis riche. Okay? Did you know that the word a watch is une montre? Une montre. A watch. D'accord? Ensuite, to ask a question. So remember the verb to ask is demander. Okay? But if you say to ask a question, then it will be to pose a question in French. So that's, it comes with the word une question, a question. Il pose une question, he's asking a question. Il pose une question. Je pose une question, or je pose une question. If I say it faster, I'm asking a question. Il lève la main. I think it's a boy. I said she, but I think it's a boy. Huh? Elle lève la main, or il lève la main. She raises her hand. And we say she raises the hand. Elle lève la main. D'accord? Now, if you just ask for something, you demandez. But we don't say the for. You always ask for something. In English, we just ask something. Je demande un verre. I'm asking for a glass. Je demande un verre. You say, je demande un verre d'eau, un verre de vin. Okay, je demande un verre d'eau. I'm asking for a glass of water. Je demande un verre de vin. I'm asking for a glass of wine. So remember, we don't say the for to ask for something. Une bouteille is a bottle. Say that again. Une bouteille. Une bouteille. D'accord? Ensuite, he's sharpening a pencil with a pencil sharpener. Il taille like a tie, okay? Just like a tie. Il taille un crayon avec un taille-crayon. Pencil sharpener. Sharpen pencil, really. Il taille un crayon avec, is with, avec un taille-crayon. OK? Ensuite, to cross one's arms is croiser les bras, croiser. It can also be to bump into someone. J'ai croisé, je croise toujours Michael. I always bump into Michael. Il croise les bras, he's crossing his arms, and we say he's crossing the arms. You'll notice that everything that has to do with a part of your body, in English you use the possessive adjective my, your, and in French we say the. I'm cutting my hair. Je me coupe les cheveux. I'm cutting the hair. Okay. Il croise les bras, he's crossing his arms. Il croise les bras. Il porte un costard cravate. This is the expression we use for suit and ties, costard cravate. Even though it's supposed to be costume cravate, costard cravate is a bit colloquial, but we use that all the time. So it should be costume cravate, but I think people say costard cravate more, really. Il porte un costard cravate. He's wearing a suit and tie. Il porte un costard, we don't say the D, costard cravate. Cravate is tie. D'accord? Il croise les bras. We don't say the S. Bras is arm. Ensuite, now to cross a street, it's a different verb. It's the verb traverser. D'accord? Traverser. On traverse la rue. We're crossing the street. Remember, we use on all the time rather than nous, which is very formal. So one crosses the street. That means we're crossing the street. On traverse la rue. Sur le passage clouté means on the crossing area. Sur le passage clouté. Sometimes we say le passage clouté, sometimes we say les clous. Okay, sometimes we would say les clous instead of le passage clouté. We say both. Les clous, le passage clouté. Okay? Ensuite, to drop someone off or something off. So useful. Same thing. I learned that one when I came to America. I never learned it at school in France. So I'll give it to you. It's déposer, like to deposit. Okay? Déposer. So to drop someone off, déposer quelqu'un. Or déposer quelqu'un, déposer quelque chose. To drop something off, déposer quelqu'un, to drop someone off. So, ils déposent les enfants. They're dropping off the kids. Il dépose. Remember, we don't say the S, we don't say the ENT. So yes, phonetically, if that was my only sentence, you could not tell the difference between they're dropping off or he's dropping off. Okay? So just because I have a picture, it's written, I know it's there. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. Il dépose les enfants. La fenêtre est baissée. The window is down. Again, la fenêtre, remember the E in second position without an accent. I will drop it if I speak a little fast at a normal pace. So that would be la fenêtre est baissée. I'm dropping the E. C'est la fenêtre. La fenêtre est baissée. The window is down. Le bus récupère les enfants. The bus is picking up the kids. The bus picks up the kids. Le bus récupère les enfants. Il porte un sac à dos. He's carrying a backpack. Il porte un sac à dos. Le bus récupère les enfants. Elle saute une classe. Elle saute une classe. Il saute. He's jumping. Elle saute une classe. Ça veut dire quoi? What does it mean? That's to skip a grade. That's also the verb to jump, hop, or skip. So, elle saute une classe. She's skipping a grade. Like 5th grade is in class. Okay, and il saute, he's jumping. Ça veut dire quoi? Is what does it mean? One of the most useful things you can learn, really. And it's one of the few verbs that is split in two verbs in French. To mean is to want to say. So it wants to say what? And that's what does it mean? It wants to say what? Ça veut dire quoi? What does it mean? D'accord? So you could say, what does O mean? Ça veut dire quoi, O? D'accord? Ça veut dire quoi, O? What does O mean? Water, by the way. D'accord? The verb to sign is signer. D'accord? Signer. To sign a report card, sign a contract. Elle signe le carnet de notes. If I said a little faster, I will swallow the E here and say carnet de notes. Elle signe le carnet de notes. She's signing the report card. Elle a une belle écriture. She has nice handwriting. D'accord? Okay, très bien. That's all for today. We've learned quite a few verbs already, quite a bit of vocab. I'll see you soon for another lesson. Salut!